Good evening, everyone. It's 7 o'clock, so we shall make a start. Welcome to tonight's final meeting of the current council cycle of the Finance, Assets and Performance Scrutiny Committee. Item number 1 is apologies for absence. I have received apologies from Councillor Betley Smith, who is substituted tonight by Councillor Crisp, Councillor Parker, who is substituted tonight by Councillor Beeston. I've received apologies from Councillor Dean, who cannot be substituted for. She is in a group of 1. Councillor Lawley, and no substitute for Councillor Lawley tonight. And I have received apologies from Councillor Allport as well. Again, no substitute. Are there any other apologies for absence? In that case, item number 3 is the minutes of the previous meeting. Can we agree those are a true record? Excellent. Item number 4, the Financial and Performance Review Report for the 3rd quarter. Councillor Sweeney.
Thank you, Chairman. This is one of these unfortunate timetable clashes, really, because this is the 26th of March today, and it's quarter 3's report, and quarter 4 ends next week. So it's sort of 13 weeks out of date, 12 weeks out of date. But nonetheless, the main thing I was interested in the fact we're showing a £3,000 underspend on this. I have every expectation that come next week, that will be the sort of figure that will be finishing with the year with. It's nice to say we've got a balanced budget for next year. It's nice to say we balanced the budget for this year. So I've got nothing really else to add. It's always an important bit that I like to look at.
Thank you very much for that, Councillor Sweeney. Are there any questions or comments on the report, or shall we move on to our appendix, Appendix B, as we normally do? Appendix B contains the exciting graphics. I intend to stop at the numbers which appear in red. The first of which is ID 1.13, the average number of days per employee lost to sickness. Councillor Sweeney.
I don't want to be a coward here, but I think I'll pass to the HR manager if I can. He's probably more expert than I am, believe it or not.
No problem. As we've heard, this is quarter 3, so it covers the winter period where we see traditionally higher sickness absence anyway. So we are seeing that slight upturn, and we're seeing lower absence at the moment, which we'll report into quarter 4. The longer term absence was the main reason for that increase, which is obviously difficult when people are off for a longer period of time. And an organisation this size, it does impact on the overall figures, but we are very supportive with people when they're off sick, and we bring them back when they are ready to come back. And we hope to see that sickness trend go down next quarter.
Thank you very much for that information. Would any councillor like to ask a question or make a comment on that indicator? If not, the next red indicator, and it's again one that we've considered before on a number of occasions, it's ID 1.8A, the total number of digital online transactions. Councillor Sweeney.
Yeah, thank you, Chairman. I'll briefly say this. I can never quite work out if this is good or bad, if it's big number or low number, because you look at it both ways. And I'll pass over to the HR manager who can explain what I'm just talking about. But we have this discussion every quarter, and I don't know if it's good to be high or good to be low. You can look at it both ways, and I'm sure George will delight to explain that much clearer than I am.
Of course. So we are seeing below target, but as Councillor Sweeney has said, it's sort of not that clear if a high target is better than a low one. And for that very reason, we are changing this target setting for our next financial year. So the targets will reflect the actual usage around the digital transactions. This is in line with our switch to a new system by which customers will be able to access services. So this target will change, and I think we just need to accept that at this point we are slightly below target, but people are still able to access our services and undertake the transactions that they need to take.
Colleagues, I can think of no better reason to successfully seek re-election to Newcastle Borough Council than to scrutinise a new target that will better reflect the performance of the council in the new year. Are there any questions or comments, or shall we move on? The next one I can see that is a red indicator is ID 2.6A year to date. This is the percentage of complainants informed within the required timescales of any action to be taken about alleged breaches of planning control. Councillor Sweeney.
You sure it's this one?
Or indeed are
I'm in the wrong one, aren't I?
Have I missed? I apologise. Should we scroll backwards? What have I missed?
10.9 somewhere phone out. You've confused me. That one not 10.9.
I am following the digital version of this in my. You may have your pages.
I might have got the pages mixed up. That is possible. Oh, that's my alarm going off my eyes. That's his alarm going off to say that he thinks the meeting should be finished by now. But no, we will persevere. We will scrutinise. I have to massage my eyeball. That's what it is. Apologies, I can't give a page number. Then I'm doing it in the order that it appears on screen, which is no. Sorry, the page is upside down. It's my mistake entirely. There's two things on this. If you look at the one below, which is shown 88.2, that's a quarter, which is a hell of improvement. But we were hit badly at the beginning of the year, which is why it's 62.4. It's coming back, and I think the officers believe that by next year, well, we're next year in a week's time, aren't we? They see no reason why this shouldn't come back online with what it is.
Thank you. Yes, that's a very encouraging indicator for the last quarter in isolation. Do our officers have anything to add? Do our members have anything to ask? Then we will move onwards to the indicator mentioned previously. This is ID 2.3, quality of major development applications. It's a 24-month rolling period.
Yeah, thank you.
Target is 10 and the number is 10.9. Yeah,
the 10 is 10%, so it's 10% of applications that this council has turned down over a 2-year period. 10% is the threshold the government set. We're actually doing 10.9, so it's a little bit over, but it's every time that officer recommendation comes to planning committee and the planning committee go against it, it then goes to appeal. We lose the appeal, that's part of these figures. Really nothing to do with the council, it's more the way the planning committee works, in my opinion. Thank you.
Well, the planning committee is a part of the council. It's a statutory function of ours.
Yeah, but I don't think it's a thing that the council itself can alter. It is simply the planning committee make decisions, and if it gets overthrown, you've got a percentage over 2 years of 10%. More than 10% is 10.9. That's what it is.
A question, if I may, are there potential implications for the authority? I know this is a function that the planning committee deals with in a non-political way. Are there any concerns that would arise from that about our autonomy, our continued functioning as an authority?
The only penalty is the cost of fielding the inquiry, and if you lose, you have to pay costs. So the more appeals we lose, the more money it costs us.
Thank you for the answer. What price democracy? Are there any questions or comments on that indicator? If not, we'll move on. I have a tiny slither of red under priority 3, and it's the first one, ID 1.4A, total percent of materials collected for recycling and composting, verified via WDF. This falls within Councillor Hutchison's portfolio. He is presently with us in the public gallery. He's not here to answer questions. This is not his committee. We're only dealing with it from a resource finance perspective. So, Councillor Sweeney.
Yeah, thank you, Chairman. Yeah, this is it's the same story as 3 months ago, really. Hot summer brings the weight. So if there's a lot of water on the on grass cutting and things like that, it weighs more. And I've spoken to the officers about it, and he says no, it's the same thing, the same thing. It's dry summer, you get these reduced figures, and it hits us.
Thank you very much for that. Any questions or comments? If not, the immediate following page is the one that I always praise. I do praise Councillor Hutchins for what's coming up because you've got a full sheet of 100% on target. But Councillor Waring, if you have a comment to raise.
It's just on the one that follows that, 1.4B. And it's a pedantic comment, but the bar is supposed to be at 37%, and it looks like it's actually at 44%. And it just misleads it. You look as though you're just about managing to meet the target, when in fact you're actually well above it. So it just needs correcting. Thank you.
That is an artistic concern. Do our officers have any suggestions?
We'll note the artistic concern and take it back for next time. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Hopefully, again, that will be the appearance of the bar chart will match the numbers underlying the data, which certainly can't be said for a lot of election leaflets.
No.
We're seeing increasing
Councillor Wary for that, because I hadn't picked that up, but he makes a very fair point, doesn't it? Thank you, Paul.
Thank you. That is helpful. It is noted. As I mentioned before, there's a full page of 100% scores there for Councillor Hutchison. Congratulations, as always, to the officers whose hard work underpins that. And I'm continuing to scroll, and I think that's the last one that I intended to raise. Are there any questions or comments on any of the other indicators tonight? In that case, thank you very much for your scrutiny on that item. Item number 5 is the Town Deal and Future High Streets Fund update. This is the same report that goes to the Economic Development Scrutiny Committee. So you may have seen this previously. But Councillor Sweeney, would you like to introduce the report?
Yes, thank you, Councillor. I think Councillor Grocot's seen this before, haven't we, Dave? Yeah. Rather a lot of nice pictures. I don't go to individual things. I think we can all see stuff around the town centre that's happening now. We've got a crane. If you go to the not your place, Astley place. Go there now. You can see all the steel girders around the top. The windows are going in. The boarding's going around. You can really see progress now. There's pictures in here of the former car park, Midway car park, and they're really cracking on with that now. There's a big hole in the middle of it where the atrium's going, and you can really see some progress. There's a good picture here of the car park as it's going to be. I think the car park, I think Councillor Gorton said this the other day, and I absolutely agree with him. I think the car park of all these things is the one that really fascinates me the most. I think we're getting a lot of stuff off the TV on it, a lot of publicity, good publicity, and I think if Capital Centric, along with the council, can really do this, I think every council in the country will come and look at Newcastle to see what you do with a 1970s or 80s concrete car park that's not just pulling it down, it's doing something like this. I think it's potentially, it's absolutely, but I think it's really, all these things is the most exciting thing for me, but I am a little bit sad. Pictures for Councillor Grocott, Nutton Chester now coming on, nearly ready to go at last. More pictures of that. We're still waiting for the proper electricity supply at Nutton. How long that's going to take, I don't know, but it's certainly coming along. I think it's going to be too long now, but we're getting along. You can see, if you go to the old Ritzies, you can see the work's being done there, the groundwork's going in. They're cracking on with that. Chatterley Valley, the most exciting thing I can say about Chatterley Valley is that we were talking at the time about 1,800 jobs for Chatterley Valley. And, as time goes on, 1,800 gets less, or it's 1,500, but it's not, it's still 1,800 jobs. So it's 1,800 jobs in the borough. So really, really exciting. The rest of the stuff on Kingsgrove, I'll pass to Mr. McKinley.
Let's do that. Let's do that first then. Yes, Councillor Stubbs, you've got a question about the Newcastle end of things.
It's more of a comment than a question. There's a really good social media. I think he works for CNC, and he's whenever he's in Newcastle.
Yeah, I think he is CNC.
Yeah, I mean, some of the stuff he's doing is really, really good. So if councillors want to see hands-on what's going on, he does 2-minute long videos.
Yeah, Tim, he is
very, very good.
His company,
and they are pretty interesting.
My daughter watches on TikTok.
Yeah, that's right.
Because he doesn't work for the council.
You can't share them. Well, can you? I don't know.
You can say things to him, and he'll say it back to you, and he'll defend it's his thing. It's worth watching. No, I mean, his daughter loves it.
All I'd say is, if people want to see what's actually going on,
yeah,
it's a really good view.
It is. Yeah, they're a good company. I think I'm well impressed when I hear about him, and the people they've got coming in for the new premises is getting quite interesting now. So I hope it's as good as it looks. So I'm really the Midway is the one that really thinks, how are you going to do this? And it's going to be fantastic. I think. Sorry, go, sir. Where you go?
Just to finish a little bit more on that, the handle is Tim Heatley or Kaplan Centric, if you find them on Instagram and stuff. So if anybody does, because he does a lot of PR on all of his schemes, but he's particularly interested in these three that are going on because they are game changers, hopefully. And just on Chatterley Valley, Steve was talking about the 1,800 jobs. The largest two buildings, I can't tell you the names because I don't know the names of the companies that have signed heads of terms for both of those, because the developer Harworth have had to sign NDAs for whilst they're going through the negotiations. But the largest of the site at the bottom will be creating around 1,100 jobs. So we're well on our way to the 1,800, which is what we're trying to do, or Harworth are trying to do. So that's really good. So Harworth are really happy with that. Kidsgrove train station, Network Rail are going to be signing off the final design in April, hopefully. April, May time, with a view that they will then get contractors ready for a start on site later in the year. So we'll see some activity on the train station site, which is well due. Canal pathways, they're all done and dusted apart from the connectivity to the academy site, of which the community learning hub at King's Academy, they're working on getting a planning application in shortly. They've got a full timetable of events that will be for community learning, outreach services, etc., completely separate from the school itself. Fences and gates, safeguarding, so there'll be no teaching of young people in that building, but there may well be young people providing or getting trained on the community cafe that they have at the school. They'll be moving that across to the, so that's if you call that learning, that's training, etc., but it will be providing a facility to the community. The enterprise units will be awarding a contract to a contractor next week. We've gone through a rigorous procurement exercise on that. It's got planning permission, so that will be sorted. All neighbours are being consulted with and are generally happy with what we're doing. There will be some upheaval, but we're working with all of the neighbours around that. And then the highways improvements, you'll notice in Kidsgrove that the demolition of Brown's garages has started this week, which is making way for a temporary car park so that the public realm and car parking changes to that end of town, Market Street, etc., can be made, but we needed to knock down Brown's garage before that, so that will be ongoing. And we're talking to Staffordshire County Highways around how we prioritise each of the works, because you don't want to bring Kidsgrove to a standstill, etc. But all working quite well up in Kidsgrove now.
Thank you very much for that comprehensive update. Are there any questions or comments? Councillor Waring.
Yeah, just a brief comment on the railway station. We had a meeting on the subgroup last week, and we were actually discussing whether, with it being further behind than the other projects, whether there's going to be any sort of level of consultation. Well, obviously, due to the very strict design constraints, there won't be what East Midlands Rail have said that they'll do is they'll have a sort of open day to showcase what they're doing so that people get a better idea of what's actually happening there, so that people don't feel as though they've been left in the dark. So that will happen probably at the end of the year or something like that. Okay.
Thank you very much for the comment. Are there any further contributions? If not, we will close that item. Thank you very much, Councillor Sweeney, and to our officer for providing it. That is the last substantive item of business for this cycle. Item number 6 is the work programme. You will see, because of the nature of the business that this committee transacts, there is already material awaiting the new form of this committee, which is penciled in for the 11th of June. Do check your calendars at annual council, because that is subject to change. The final item then, public question time, urgent business. I'm aware of none of either of those, and the date of the next meeting is as previously stated. Can I thank all members of the committee for your hard work in scrutiny over the previous years, including those who aren't here. I know there's a number of people who've served on the committee, both as substitutes and as full members of the committee who are not present. And thanks especially to Amy, who's been the the deputy, the vice chair of this committee. Thanks to all of the officers for their work in supporting this committee, and thanks to Steve for answering all of the questions. Mainly, he's got a better track record of answering questions than the Prime Minister. If there is nothing further, that's the end of the meeting. Good night.